All right. Hello, everyone, gamers and all that jazz. Welcome back to yet another Chris Allen recap. What I believe to be the seventh one. Now, we actually have a pretty long one, hopefully, with us today, because we're covering 3 whole topics. One of which, if you're an observant viewer, you can see on the screen right now. But that's for later on. I didn't want to put another zombies photo because I fucking talk about zombies way too much, and we're going to talk about it again today. But as always, the Chris Allen recaps are my thoughts and opinions on stuff. Literally anything, mostly gaming related, but today that's going to be different. Very informal. I always say that because I have to basically say to myself, like, why is this so shitty? I barely have any script at all. Usually don't when I say this. It's all off the dome. But anyway, the 3 topics we have for today that I would love to discuss with all my adoring, lovely gaming viewers is the new Outbreak mode in zombies, the new Pokemon games, and a philosophical question. Well, not question, but more of my opinion and something I was thinking about recently. It kind of mixes in with news about me recently and something that kind of happened that I don't want to go too in depth on, but kind of had me feeling a certain way and had me thinking about stuff. But anyway, oh god, I have a burp coming. Hold up. Excuse me. Like I said, very unprofessional. But you're used to things like this if you're on my channel for a while. So anyway, first topic to go through is Outbreak. Outbreak's been out for a little bit now. I've played it a bunch. A lot of people have played it in the community. There's opinions on it. And I'm going to put mine into the mix. So, in general, I think Outbreak has led to a lot of positive things, right? It's different. Treyarch always tries something different. And unlike a lot of the stuff they tried, I think this is honestly one of the things that could stick. Outbreak is a superiorly fun mode. It's different enough from zombies to where it can stand on its own, but it's still fun because it still includes like, hey, you have to survive. But now it's more geared towards, okay, rather than just surviving and doing the Easter egg and then, that's it. You're just actually doing things and surviving. I think it's ultimately, personally, superior to the base zombies mode. The base zombies mode, I played it when, since I was a kid. I've been playing zombies since Black Ops 1, and then went back and played Cold War. I always liked the idea of, okay, you survive and try and get as high as you can. And that goes into Outbreak, too. You could survive as long as you want, or as long as you can, rather. With, I call them rounds, even though they're probably realistically like waves, but with each new area, it gets harder and the number goes up. So each new round, it gets harder. You can still go higher than other people. There's still the competitive aspect with it. But aside from just surviving, you actually have to do shit which could get you killed, which in my opinion, like I said, it's like taking what people loved about zombies, which is doing the Easter egg, because let's be honest, just surviving in zombies is fucking boring. So it's taking like an Easter egg or like a themed goal that you have to do, and they're making that the main objective, and it's not ending the game, and it's actually super fucking fun. Now, Outbreak is good, it's fun, and one thing that I was worried about that kind of got solved once I played it was the map. So, aside from being objective-oriented, the map is huge. Like, the 3 little objectives you have, the one main and the 2 side ones with either, like, the dragon, the chest, or killing the bosses, so I guess, 4 or 3 other ones. They're okay, but the map size was kind of a factor of, okay, if the map is so big, isn't it going to be easy? And it turns out no. The zombies actually have so much fucking armor, and they spawn so many boss zombies on you, that it actually ends up, in my opinion, being hard. Now, I'm a seasoned veteran in zombies, and I even think this shit's kind of hard too. What's not hard is surviving. Surviving isn't hard. It never was. In zombies, you could survive if you know how to path and you know how to train. This is why this mode excels. The objectives you have to do can get you killed. And if you've played the mode, you know what I'm talking about. The holdout mode and the bringing the canister mode, if you're doing that with an incompetent team at a higher round, you're gonna get fucking wiped. you need to be on your shit, and you actually need to like plan out shit and be good for this mode, which you never needed to do for any zombies, let alone Cold War, because Cold War is easy. So I'm very glad that the higher you go, it's actually, in my opinion, one of the more difficult experiences I've seen in zombies, even with this new system that makes it quote unquote super easy. So that's huge, and it's cool. I love that part. Now, the objectives themselves, you know, like I said, there's like little side objectives, like the little dragon you have to fill up, the bosses you have to kill to get a free perk. Those are okay. The main objective, which consists of like, you know, 5 objectives: carry the monkey to the portal, fucking kill some guy, defend an area. Like, it's okay. It's nothing to write home about. It's simple and it works. It's not overly complicated and it's not overly complex, which is a plus. Now, personally, I think it could get old pretty decently quickly, but like I said, I'm okay with doing the same thing, and it's a lot less boring in my opinion than regular zombie maps. I do still like regular zombie maps, but it's a lot less boring than regular zombie maps. But it's still not as crazy as I would have expected, but that's okay, because from what I've heard, oh no, excuse me. From what I've heard, Treyarch seems to be going 100% in on this mode. Like, this is like a test run of like the new mode to see if people enjoyed it, and people did. So Treyarch is like gonna update this shit like crazy. With the way things are going, I'm surprised they updated like everything they did this patch with the new perks and skill upgrades and weapon upgrades. Everything basically got an upgrade to tier 4 and 5. I was surprised that came in season 2. And now they're saying they're gonna add more to Outbreak, aka new maps, hopefully new objectives, because the same 5 ones would get stale. Like, it can go nowhere but up from here. Now, aside from that, the only thing I'm scared of with the future, everything looks good for the future is what I'm trying to say, but one thing I'm scared of for the future is, I just complimented how Outbreak is hard, right? The later you go in Outbreak, unless you have a really good and competent team, or you're running like the best shit, which, you know, admittedly, I've kind of been nerfing myself in the Outbreak mode because I'm leveling up weapons, but the double XP is over. I'm still going to level them up, but I haven't been really using the top tier weapons or wonder weapons, so maybe it's artificially harder for me than it is for other people, but I still feel like it's decently hard. So aside from that, right, I just complimented how hard it is, and that's a good thing. My fear is, with the introduction of even more new stuff into the game, there's going to be the problem of power creep into zombies. And for those of you who don't know, power creep is mostly prevalent in stuff like MMOs. It's where you have to keep making something that's stronger and stronger and stronger for the player to keep getting, and then it eventually leads to the game becoming easy, in my opinion. So with zombies, again, being honest, the main mode of survival with the 2 zombies maps we actually have is pretty fucking trivial. Like, no one argues that it's probably the easiest it's been in a long time, if not ever. But Outbreak is kind of hard. Now, Outbreak is significantly easier if you have everything leveled up, because in Outbreak you need to just do more damage. So a lot of stuff helps you do more damage with this newest patch, with the crit modifiers and the perk upgrades and everything. It just kind of results in more uptime and more damage of your stuff. Now, I'm thinking of double tap, right? We all know double tap is most likely coming back into Cold War. And we already have a decent amount of power. If they add double tap, we're going to be shredding through zombies like nothing if it's like any of its previous iterations. And I know they're not just gonna add double tap. They're gonna add like maybe more shit too to help the players out. So I'm kind of concerned for the future of the game. If like, even if Outbreak becomes easy, then I think the game might be a little bit too boring. I think the difficulty is one of the main drawing points of Outbreak for me personally. That's why I like playing it. It's kind of hard. And it gives good crystals, good Ethereum crystals. But that's a thought for another day, the whole loot system of COD. But overall, I'm very happy. I'm just scared for the future if things get too crazy and we get too powerful, because they can only keep adding on to our power, and it's getting kind of ridiculous personally. Like, all the perks upgraded, imagine what you could do. You can't lose your perks, you could run forever, you could defy death, you could do everything while sprinting, you could pick yourself up in 2 different ways with Quick Revive and Tombstone. It's like, yo, this is getting ridiculous. And they're gonna add, what, 3 more perks? Like, holy shit. Not to say, like, they might not add any other upgrades to, like, field upgrades, ammo mods. Like, it's gonna get ridiculous. But anyway, enough of me rambling about that. I'm gonna leave Outbreak on that. It's good. It's fun. I'm excited for the future. They seem like they're gonna add a lot more. I'm just a little scared to how powerful people can become. So, with that done, let's now move on to the topic of the picture in front of us. Pokemon. So, new Pokemon games coming out. Pokemon... Oh god, I always fuck up the names. I hate this shit. Pokemon Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl. I believe those are the names. Let me actually just look at the fucking thumbnail I put. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Okay. I put Shining Diamond. Yeah. I always get the names wrong. But anyway. Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. So... And the new Arceus game, fucking Pokemon Legends Arceus, which is a new type of game. It's like a prequel to everything. It's the oldest game in the series we've had. So, I think these are cool. Now, I have some negatives about them, but overall, I think these are cool. I'm seeing a lot of memes about them too, which is hilarious. A lot of the memes are, oh, the Pokemon community is asking for like Diamond and Pearl remakes. And then the Diamond and Pearl remakes come out, and people are upset about them. And then it shows like the SpongeBob meme of the dad where it's like, then why did you ask for it? Which is hilarious. But overall, I'm happy Diamond and Pearl are getting remade. No matter what, it's a net positive for me. But there are negatives. So, one huge positive that I really was surprised at, that even with COVID, I mean, they are remakes, but even with COVID, they're coming out this year, which is like super cool. They're coming out late this year, but they're coming out this year. Pokemon games always come out like right before Christmas, so that's probably when they're going to come out again, probably November or September. But I'm excited. I was super surprised by that. But one thing I don't like about these remakes, right, is the style. The new style is like sort of chibi, like fucking... In the overworld I'm talking about. In battle, it looks like really good. The graphics are amazing. Like, and even most of the overworld looks good too. But I just have a main problem with how the people look. The people look so stupid. When they walk, they fucking like jiggle a little bit. They look like weird like chibi creations. It doesn't look natural. And to me, it doesn't look anything like it should have looked based on the originals. The originals were sprite based, and I'm a sucker for sprites. I think Pokemon, to me, was at its peak when it had sprites. But what I think of is like Diamond and Pearl, when you see the sprites and how they looked serious. Like if you look at Lewis and the main character, the boy version and the girl version of Dawn, honestly, when you see the sprites from the originals, they look like serious. Like they look like they're about to beat the shit out of you and take your fucking money once they win the battle, and maybe even piss on you. Like, they look like they don't fucking joke around. But in the new one, they look so cartoonish and goofy and silly with the way they wobble when they walk and their whole proportions and stuff. It just looks stupid. Like, I think they looked really cool before, and I think they look kind of stupid now. But aside from that, I think it's okay. I think everything else, how they're redoing the whole world, it ultimately looks better, no matter what. Because, 2D to 3D. But I've actually seen some images online of people kind of adding a sort of cell shading to the game and more shadows and more light and like lighting effects. And it looks fucking amazing. Honestly, they could improve this game so much more than they already have. And it reminds me of the constant saying that, wow, Game Freak is getting lazy. And honestly, at this point, I'm starting to believe it. Because, like, these people who made these lighting effects and shadows and stuff are regular people like you and me, most likely. Like, they're not game developers with a ton of resources or money. And if they can make it look that good right after the trailer comes out, then there's no reason why Game Freak couldn't do that too. Like, it's a little ridiculous to me that it couldn't be the best possible version of what it should be, especially for such a beloved series like Diamond and Pearl, which is what I started with. But anyway, aside from me hating the chibi and loving the pixels of the sprite style of the first one, let's actually move on to the new game a little bit. We basically know that the new game, Pokemon Legends Arceus, is like a pre-prequel. It's still in Sinnoh, which is cool. I love the Sinnoh region. I love mythology. Sinnoh is basically just mythology-themed Pokemon, and it's fucking amazing. If you don't like that, fight me. So, it looks better, personally, than Diamond and Pearl. I don't like how it's set all the way in the past. Like, you're literally catching Pokemon with fucking wooden Pokeballs. It's ridiculous. It's funny as fuck, though. But it basically looks like the new game in the series, where it's actual, like, real 3D. They don't look like chibi, and you could fucking do a barrel roll. This shit's crazy. But what they showed kind of has me, again, thinking they're either lazy or maybe they rushed it, because that trailer looked kind of shitty. I don't know if anyone else saw it, but the frame rate was fucking mad low. Like, some of the Pokemon were, like, moving at, like, 10 frames a second, like, flapping their wings and moving around. It looked kind of bad sometimes. Now, hopefully that's not in the final game. But with Pokemon, you don't know anymore after what they did with fucking Sword and Shield. Like, you kind of have to question, is it going to come out like this? Which I hope to God not, but you never know. But aside from it looking like kind of shitty and having a couple bugs, it looks pretty decent. I'm probably going to get both, like Pearl and that. Fuck Diamond, fuck Dialga. But aside from that, I hope the remakes are not just a simple one-to-one. Like, there's two things. There's remakes and there's remasters. A remaster is just bringing it back with updated graphics. A remake is bringing it back to the modern day. Like, it's like, oh, if Diamond and Pearl was remade today, this is how it would be. So I'm hoping there's, like, some new stuff or some more endgame content. And I'm hoping to dear God, you can catch Arceus in this shit, and you're not gonna have to catch him in Pokemon Legends. Pokemon has gone so downhill, in my opinion, with just the quality of the games. Back in the day, let me tell you guys some history of Pokemon. So, back in the day, when I was a wee lad, I used to play Pokemon at, like, my family's houses whenever I could, because I didn't have any game system. Eventually, when I got my Game Boy, Jesus Christ, thinking about the fucking Game Boy, it was so old. It was so good. This is when games were good. When I got my Game Boy, I wanted to get Emerald, and for reasons that I'm not going to really go into now, because this is going to make it too long, I basically lost my Game Boy, or it got stolen. But I couldn't get Emerald, so I had to wait till I got a DS, and then when I got a DS, my first Pokemon game I actually owned and played, not at, like, my family's houses, was Pokemon Pearl. And then I retroactively went back, played Fire Red, Leaf Green, Yellow, Emerald, all that jazz, right? I played almost all the Pokemon games up until Black, White 2. I kind of quit at Black and White. The Pokemon games progressively got easier and more, I would say, refined for, like, a general audience. So what I mean by that is, like, back in the day, for those of you who played fucking Emerald, you'll remember how hard it was to get the fucking Reggies. You had to do fucking some sort of not Morse code. You had to do fucking Braille. You had to have a Relicanth and a Wailord in certain positions in your party, diving at a certain part in the ocean near one of the cities. Like, it was like, how the fuck would you figure this shit out if you weren't looking it up? It was insane. And to do it was no joke either. Like, it was kind of hard. Unless you had the internet, which back then, ironically enough, not as many people had access to. I certainly didn't. I had to, like, fucking pray to God I could go to the library and use the internet. Or use my mom's phone to use the internet. Because back then, phones couldn't really do it that much. So it was harder. It was way, way harder to get the legendaries. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the whole convoluted-ass process to get them. I mean, even for the regular legendaries where you don't even have to figure stuff out. Look at Rayquaza. To get to Rayquaza back in the day, you had to go through fucking... What was it? It's not Sky Pillar, is it? I think it might be Sky Pillar. Like, that tower you had to go through with the floor that would, like, break, and you had to use your bike to run through it quickly. That shit was hard for me as a kid. That shit was nice. Now, when you look at the new Pokemon games, oh, how do you get Necrozma? Walk down the hallway. Okay, cool, you found him. Catch him. Oh, nice, you caught him. Cool. Oh, you want all the legendaries? Go through these hoops. Okay, cool. Like, literally, like, it's not like metaphorically jumping through hoops. I'm being serious. You literally go through, like, a portal ring hoop, and you just find them and you get them. It's ridiculously easy now. Which, I mean, I don't know. If it appeals to a broader audience, I guess that's cool, but I prefer how it was back in the day. But anyway, I hope to dear God that It's like Diamond and Pearl was. Diamond and Pearl, in my opinion, kind of was getting on the easy side. I would say the real difficulty was like in the Game Boy games. Like those games were fucking difficult to get legendaries. You felt rewarded and accomplished. Pearl, I still felt that, but it definitely was a lot less. Now, I hope to dear God they don't make it like the newer games where it's just easy, walk down the hallway, get the legendary. I hope they actually add like more puzzles and stuff in and make it look cool. And I don't understand why they didn't remake Platinum, because Platinum was so fucking good. But I still have high hopes for this game. I just hope they add more. I'm going on so many tangents right now. It's ridiculous. But I just really love Pokemon, and I hope they add more to this game. Even if they don't, even if they do make it an exact one-to-one copy, because the game has been out for so long and it's so old, I would be completely fine with that. Fuck it. I just hope for more, but I'd be fine with the bare minimum of just the game if they fix the fucking graphics. But anyway, that's all I'm going to say for Pokemon. I'm excited. There's a couple of problems I'm not too scared about, but I'm worried about. But aside from that, I'm very, very fucking excited and I'm very happy. Now, to the last topic. So, I have to preface this topic as well, right? You could argue I could make all three of these topics their own separate Chris Allen recaps, but, you know, that's not how I do shit here. How I do shit is I do it however the fuck I want, and I always assume it's bad, but I do it anyway, so. I was going to do this philosophy topic, right? And personally, I had a lot of trouble even deciding if I should do it or not. I did want to talk about it, even though it's not gaming related. I was like, fuck, it's not gaming related. I don't really know how to talk about stuff that's not gaming related. It's kind of hard for me, even though I fucking talk like an animal. And I was kind of wondering, like, I can't really include it in its own video. Originally, this Chris Allen recap was just going to be about this philosophy topic I'm going to mention soon. But, again, I didn't really know how to just talk about a philosophical topic like this. And I still might not know. I still might get it wrong, but I felt it would be easier if I combined it with other gaming-related things, because gaming is what, like, I mainly do with this shit. So, without further ado, let's get into the philosophy thing. So, I'm just going to mention what I'm thinking of in my opinion, and then I'm going to go into, like, kind of the background of it. But anyway, my opinion is that in life, and this is true as far as I've seen for most people, I personally think this is true. You can feel free to disagree with me if you want. And it's philosophy. You can't really say anything is a fact here. I think that people only really care about other people if they have similar experiences, or more specifically in the cases I'm thinking of, suffering, right? Like if people are suffering, you don't really care about their suffering, or you can't really relate to it. Like you might be able to feel bad for them, but you don't really empathize with them or really try and help them unless you've been through the same kind of suffering and you understand what they're going through. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's personally what I think. So, how am I going to do this? I'm thinking of two things. I'm going to say some examples of what I'm thinking to kind of prove to you it's like a real world thing, and it's from like what I've seen in my life. And I'm going to kind of tell you why I've thought about this recently. So I guess I'll start with why I'm thinking about this. So I'm not going to name names. Originally I was going to name names, but I really like these people, so I'm not going to out them. But recently, some of my friends have started streaming, and they've been getting quite fucking popular, man. And it's fucking... I mean, it's good no matter what. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that they're getting viewers, right? But listen, man. Listen real closely. Because this shit hurts my heart. I've been streaming, you know, look, regardless of it being like on and off at the beginning, I was streaming since I would like to say the better part of 2016. Maybe even earlier, but we'll say just I started 2016, right? So 2016, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. I've been streaming on and off, mostly on, for 6 fucking years. And I have jack shit to show for it. I have no viewers. I had to fucking do a whole bunch of nani nonsense to get a sub button on Twitch, to get fucking affiliated. And now my viewers are like, again, almost always at one, aside from one of my friends decide to watch me, which I'm very thankful for. Like, I've been streaming for 6 fucking whole ass years, doing all this different shit, evolving the stream, building a computer first, streaming, trying out different games, trying out different things, all this shit. And I've had basically zero success at all, which I'm not doing it for the success, but like, it's fun to at least have people watch. I don't care if I'm not getting paid for this shit. I would at least like people to watch and like laugh either at me or with me. Like, come on, cuh. But anyway, I've been streaming for 6 fucking years. I have nothing to show for it, right? Nothing at all. Like, you wouldn't know besides me stating it with how many times I've streamed. And my friend, who's gonna name unnamed, streamed for 2 fucking days. 2 fucking days. And they got more than like 60 fucking viewers. Are you fucking kidding me? This is fucking bullshit. Oh, my heart. Thinking about this makes me sad. I need to compose myself. I'm sorry. But anyway, yeah. So, I was kind of thinking, like, even though I've been going, in my opinion, quite a long time with, you know, almost zero viewership, I'm trudging along because I'm a trooper, but, or I'm just stupid. But, I know there's people that have it worse than me. Like, there's people who aren't even affiliated because they have no friends who can, like, who they can get to watch their stream to get the sub button. Like, it's ridiculous. There's people who've probably streamed for like 8 years, 2 years longer than I have, and have still like no viewers. I mean, it's obviously not the majority. The longer you go, the less likely you are to keep streaming. But, you know, I feel like I'm one of the ancient ones who's like just streaming and streaming and streaming and hoping, but like, you know, nothing's gonna fucking happen. But there's always people in a worse position than you. There's probably not many worse than me, but there is some. But anyway, like, I just imagine no one would really understand, like, how I feel and, like, how bad it feels, right? To stream for 6 years and to somewhat try at certain points to gain a viewership and, like, gain a Twitch audience. To just have your friend get on, stream for 2 days and get, like, 60 plus viewers. It's like, it really hurts, yo. It's ridiculous, but that's kind of what prompted me to think about this thing of, like, the only people who really understand what you're going through and would be even more so inclined to help would be people who have went through what you went through. Now, I only really see one exception to this, and that's kind of a higher level of thinking. And to me, that's, if you go through enough suffering, you don't need to necessarily go through the same suffering as another person to understand that they're suffering, right? Like, there's hearing someone lost their family, and then you feel bad for them. But then it's another thing to lose your family and then know what they're going through and feel bad for them and try and help them. But then once you've lost your family and you know how much that suffering is and how big it feels, then let's say someone lost a pet, which you might have not necessarily gone through, you still understand loss and you understand suffering. So basically, I'm trying to tie it back to the point that most of the time, most people, once they go through suffering, they understand when people are going through that same suffering, and they can actually empathize and want to help with them, realistically, and actually help them. Like, there's actually, you know, there's helping people like, oh, hey, I'll give you like a bag of chips or something, or here's like $1. And then there's actually helping them solve their problems, which I feel like only happen if that person either most of the time has gone through the same problem, or very rarely has gone through something that has made them suffer, so they have a general idea of other people suffering no matter what their case is, and then they want to help. I generally think that only through suffering do people extend a hand out towards people. Like, you think of like the rich people, right, who have never suffered and they don't really care about helping people, aside from if it's for tax purposes, fucking assholes. So they don't really care about helping people because they haven't suffered. And Bill Gates is actually like, has a really good quote about this. He said the best thing, I don't know if it was actually him that said this, so let me actually not say something I'm not sure about, but I think it's Bill Gates, but one of the rich people who's really fucking rich said the best thing for someone to go through is being poor. Being poor and becoming rich basically gives you perspective. It lets you go through the suffering so you know what it is, and then you would extend the hand outward towards others. Because in my opinion, helping is like the ultimate thing that all humans need to do, but it's not going to happen with our society. But anyway, I'm getting too much into tangents now. I'm going too far. So anyway, I'll give you some examples of like kind of what I see now, right? Now, this first example kind of scares me. And I see it very truly because I live in New York. So the first example I'll give is homeless people, right? I have a very big fear of being homeless because in New York, the homeless people are kind of seen as like a thing that needs to be gotten rid of. Not a thing that needs to be solved, a thing that needs to be pushed to the side and forgotten. And I've seen people, and I've actually known, I would say like maybe one or two people, like a handful of people that actually became homeless. And these people, I would think, are just down on their luck, right? Like obviously there's some people that are homeless that are in that position because they've put themselves in that position and they don't want to really get out of it. But there's also some people that are just down on their luck and they become homeless. And the way homeless people are treated is very terribly. And that's because I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to be homeless, right? In New York, the homeless people are treated like such shit. I feel like if people were homeless, they would see how scary it is, how little help is offered, and how just forgotten and thrown away people are. And if they went through that, they would kind of help more of the homeless problem instead of trying to get rid of it or trying to hide it. But anyway, that was very incoherent. I apologize, but I don't really know how to say stuff like this. But in general, that's kind of one example I have of like, oh, unless you're also homeless, you don't know how hard it is. You can imagine, which I imagine, I'm scared to death by it, and it's probably worse than what I'm imagining, but it's just like, main point to get back to it, to not ramble too long. Unless you really go through suffering, more specifically what other people suffer through, you don't really care to help other people. And suffering kind of leads to more understanding. It sucks that it is like that, but that's what I've seen in my life. Now again, you're free to disagree, and I'm actually saying this on the internet, on YouTube, even though I have no viewers, and at this point I'm over 30 minutes in the video. It's like, who even watches this far anyway? But I am genuinely curious to see, like, who has like this opinion with me or who has a different opinion. Like, I would really be curious to see what other people think and why. Now, don't be fucking toxic with it or anything, but I would like to hear opinions, different opinions too, because hearing your own opinion and being isolated to your own opinion isn't too healthy. And because it's the internet, people are bound to have different opinions. So please, if you've watched this far and you actually care about this topic I'm saying, or you just have an opinion on it, please tell me it. Please tell me it. And I actually hope it's different. But even if it's not, it's fine. But anyway, as much of a mess as this whole thing was, I hope anyone who watched enjoyed it. Fucking Chris Allen Recap 7. I didn't think I would get to a longer one than the last one like this so soon, but hey, we out here. So anyway, I'll be back hopefully for the next Chris Allen Recap number 8. I'm out of here.